Robert Lancaster, and I wanted to share my experience with the Radial Arm Saw. And so you'll see here I have a Delta unit and a DeWalt unit, and I get excellent quality joints with these, and it seems like the way they're set up with a workbench on one end, a workbench on the other end, have plenty of room to work and all, and so it just seems like a setup that works well for me. So let me explain a little bit about some of the setup things that I've done to keep them in alignment. First of all, you'll notice that the saw is separate from the workbench here. It's just the two saws that have been lined up with reference to each other. Now the DeWalt saw here seems like it's an excellent tool. It stays in alignment very well, and usually I keep a dado blade on this piece of equipment, and you can see the wide slot in the fence, and so that's about what it does most of the time, both in the crosscut mode. Sometimes I'll put a piece back here and I'll rip, but that's what it does most of its time here. Then the other one, the Delta, it is used, it's a 12-inch, and it's used for cross-cutting, and you'll notice the fence here has just one cross-cut slot. So I don't try to miter or anything. The blade itself is a 12-inch Frood 72 tooth, and with a blade stabilizer. This particular piece of equipment seems like it just never gets out of alignment. I keep checking it. I might need to do something maybe every 5 years. It does an excellent job. A couple of key points here on the mounting of the saw. It really needs to be firmly mounted. Doesn't need to be screwed, but it needs to be leveled and with the floor. And probably the key point here is that the unit is also bolted to the cement block wall on both sides of each of these tools. So that way if you come up, you bump the tool or something, it's not going to move around. So I would suggest you just follow the manufacturer's suggestions on alignment and things. The fence itself is another critical thing here, and get the straightest board that you have. And I have found that the clamps here in the front of the tool just do not do an adequate job in securing the fence. So what I have done, you can't see it here, that I have driven screws through the fence into the table all along the entire length of this, and thus there's no way that sawdust can get down between the fence and the table and cause misalignments. So I know radial arm saws have fallen out of favor. I do well with these two. I wouldn't trade them for anything, and I think if you had one, you would be pleasantly surprised with a setup like this, how convenient it is to do many woodworking operations. For miter cuts and that sort of thing, I use this Makita 14-inch, and I'll talk about that later. So for now, I hope you got some tips out of this radial arm saw setup that I have.